My name is Allyson, and I'm a college student here at CSU in Fort Collins. And I was born with primary lymphedema, so I've had it my whole life. I'm now 21. When I was born, the doctors saw like a little bit of swelling in my leg, and they told my parents it'd probably go away, and it didn't. And so like months later, when I started to walk, it just got worse. And that's when my mom went to, when the internet was like first created, she went to the library and like looked up like swollen feet and that sort of thing, and found out that it was probably lymphedema. And so that was probably when I was only 8 months old, almost a year old, and then that's when I flew out to New Jersey to get care with you. When I was growing up, there wasn't the awareness you see today about lymphedema, and so I kind of just thought it was like this obscure kid with this weird condition, and there actually wasn't really any lymphedema therapists in Colorado either, so it was kind of just like my dad measuring my leg from home from what he had learned and just trying to get by, and it was hard to manage it effectively. I remember not really, I remember just like going to my friends' houses and just taking my garment off like for hours at a time when I wasn't supposed to, because I just didn't understand the responsibility of it. But then as I started to grow up, I think I had to take on a lot more responsibility than other kids had, because I was constantly managing this chronic condition, where other kids my age just played it on the playground and stuff, and that's something I always had to think about. In middle school, I used to always wear like sweatpants because I didn't want my leg to show, and at that time I feel like my leg wasn't as well managed as it is now, so I would always wear sweatpants on my leg just so people couldn't see it. And I remember like to wear sandals, we'd have to go to this certain shoe guy in my town who would sew on like extra leather onto the shoes so I could fit into different shoes. I could only wear certain shoes, and I remember when people would ask me about it, I used to get not offended, but it was really hard for me to talk about. Like I just didn't want to talk about it. And like one day I remember like walking up the stairs in middle school, and some guy was like saying something like tree thing, and then I remember getting down the stairs, and my friend, I was like, what is he talking about? And then I was like, kept asking her, and this was in middle school, and she was like, yeah, he was joking that you have a tree leg. And like that was when I think my self-esteem went like really low, because I had never heard anyone say anything like that about me before. So I had to kind of just like build myself up after that. Yeah. So I think it definitely was challenging, but I'm really glad that I've gotten to the place that I have now, and I'm more comfortable with it. My freshman year of college, I felt like I was really overwhelmed with my lymphedema, because I was like, I want to get straight A's, like I want to be involved in everything, like, you know, I wanted to be so involved, and I felt like my lymphedema was holding me back from that. And so I remember one day like meeting up with my parents for dinner at Olive Garden and just like crying and being like, I don't know what to do anymore, like I just need help, like I need to get my leg down to a different size. And that's when I think that summer I met with you and Karen Martin, and we did like the whole 10-day treatment with her, and I felt like I was at that point like really uncomfortable with my leg, and then after I worked with her, she was just so accepting towards me, and I feel like it really changed my viewpoint of how I view myself. And yeah, from then it was still really hard, but I think that after I like really felt like I could manage it and control it myself is when I started to feel more comfortable about it. And then I think also it's been more recently I've like gotten more involved with like other people who have lymphedema, and I think that hearing their stories has been super inspiring as well and helped me open up with it more. During my time abroad, it's just learning how to be like active. I mean, like I can still be active, but obviously not at the level of like all of the girls that I was studying abroad with who want to hike every weekend and do these crazy trips, and I just had to like know my limits for that and be okay with that. I made it to Machu Picchu. I hiked Huayna Picchu, which is like the really steep mountain right behind Machu Picchu, which was awesome for me. It's totally changed like who I am as a person and like what I want to do with my life and just how I view the world in general. I've gotten pretty involved with like the chronic health conditions group on campus, and I feel like I really try to understand people who might feel different for any way. And so now, I mean, there are days when I'm like, someone asks me about, because I get daily questions about my leg, and there are some days I'm just like, don't want to hear it, you know, but for the most part, I'm like pretty happy that people are asking me just so I can teach them about it, and it shows that they're not like feeling pity towards me, they're just trying to understand it better, which is all I really could ask for. I don't know, they're amazing. Yeah, I love my parents so much for all they've done and just being so understanding of me always, and doing what they can. And even my dad especially, like I remember when I was little and he used to be like so like just not comfortable with myself, he would always be like, you're gonna be fine, like you're gonna have so much compassion for growing up with this, and just like gave me other things to look forward to besides my lymphedema. So they've been awesome, yeah. I understand it's gonna be hard no matter what anyone says, but I think that having like a role model, like when I was in middle school, even just seeing a woman like with her legs, her lymphedema legs showing and stuff would have been huge for me. So I think just even like that's why I've come out and wanted to be more open about my lymphedema, is so I can maybe change someone else's life too. And I think that I would just tell them, like, stick through it. Like, it's really not that bad. Like, you can live with this and have a normal life. Like, I studied abroad in Peru, and I'm graduating this next year, and, you know, you can do everything you want to do and have lymphedema.